I'm Eva, the creator of Eva the Relationship Maker podcast, where we talk about successes, failures, about triumphs, about relationships and life in general. And before I'm going to introduce you, Nanny, I wanted to surprise her with something.
How many times I've seen the same graffiti? The rest. How many times I've heard speakers in the train listening? Seems like time and speeding doesn't change my thinking. When in the train, just wait and hope then.
So if you don't know, this is Nanny who's singing. This is one of my favorite songs of hers. And I think I was born in a different race because I love jazz. So Nanny, would you like to introduce yourself after this?
Well, after that introduction, I know all I can say is I am Nanny Carolina Chassin. I am a life and business coach and a singer, of course, a speaker, and I help people optimize and automate their success. And of course, my purpose in life is to help people live their dreams and turn their visions into reality. And Eva has definitely helped me fulfill that dream because I can see her smile, I can see her. She has turned her visions into reality, even in these hard times, uncertain times that we're talking. And this podcast about uncertainty and how to succeed in uncertain times, definitely it's uncertain for her. She doesn't know what's going to happen the next month, the next 2 months. And it's really a powerful thing that we want you to know that you can get success in these uncertain times. Doesn't matter what happens to your life, doesn't matter what happens to your business. And this is why this episode is so important for us, because this is a do or don'ts. How do you handle rejection? How do you really handle uncertain times and succeed? And success doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be a small thing, like being featured on TV like she did this week, right? Just for a week. And it's really special when you pivot in uncertain times. How do you pivot, and how do you get the strength? How do you get the people around you to believe in you? We were talking the other day, Eva, I know we have an agenda today to share with you, but Eva and I were sharing about community and how important community is for us to feel included, to feel happy, to feel blessed, to feel really with the energy to actually pivot to succeed. Because if you don't have the community and the people around you that support you, it's really hard to get the will, the enthusiasm, the energy, and the desire to even handle the uncertain times, right? So in the base, let's say community is a given. Okay, you have us. You have us here on the podcast, on the video. It's going to be recorded, so you can always get our messages from here. So you have us, that's a given. But now, given the fact that you have us, what do we do? What do you have to do? We're doing our part by supporting you, being your community, and connecting you with people. But what do you have to do? So I think that's what we're going to address in this episode today.
It's so true. I want to bring up just a little thing about community. When community gets together, we get strength, we have strength, and we all need somebody. We cannot succeed on our own. I had coaches, Nanny has coaches. So we are basically what we do, we learned a lot, we have our business, and we're helping you to succeed in the same time. And we had been through the trying times, and this past more than 2 years were really trying, and we had to change, to pivot. We had to do certain things differently in order to maintain our business or to maintain our persona. And we are going to, I'm just very interested in like lots of people, and this is happening, and let's put it out there. Lots of businesses went under. The businesses who were very rigid, were not open to change, or certain other circumstances, of course, they went under. But the companies and the businesses, small businesses, big businesses, who were able to pivot and take the opportunity of the situation and create something new that helps other people. And most of it, and I correct me if I'm wrong, it was coming from people who were giving, the community. That's how we got involved in um, with coaches, that they were giving us their free time. We were involved with all this community in that group that helped us grow and helped us to find answers to our problems. Back to you, Nanny.
Absolutely. I think that was a very interesting thing that happened, right? During uncertain times, sorry, some people really get together to decide, well, they can decide it, and they can also connect with other people and said, you know what, I'm going to give this in a very different way than I was giving it before. We had our coaches that gave the live streams for free, live social media, live streams, just regular on YouTube, on Facebook, on everywhere, right? Given at a discounted price. They had meetings, they had free Zoom calls every day, different classes, and whoever took part, like, what did you do during those times, during the uncertain times at the beginning of the pandemic, for example, in 2020, March, April, when there was really an uncertainty what was going to happen, and we didn't even know that was going to shut off that way, right? What happened? Did you take advantage of all the free yoga classes online, all the different courses that were available online, every single important coach that was very expensive to afford? It was for free all of a sudden online, because they could not go to any event. So did you take advantage of that? So that's one thing. Yes, some people get together and we deliver value. I actually created a live stream show also called My Conversation, and I was posting every day. I was doing a live stream. You can actually check in the YouTube channel, and we were all giving to support. But did you go and take advantage of that? So that is the thing. So it's not about, okay, yes, this happened, these people did that, but how did you make a decision to actually take advantage? Don't give up. What is the mindset that is happening in the moment of an uncertainty in the world, or in your life, or in your business, or in the particular challenge? What happens in your mindset that says, there is something out there for me? There is a solution there, even though there's a challenge, even though there's something bad, even though I have a disease, even though I'm sick, even though I feel a pain. There is something that I can do to get out of this. There is something that I can do, not even to get out, because we can't cheat death, right? We will die eventually, right? So we will die. So we all will die. So we can't cheat it. But what are we going to do today? Are we going to have a mindset of giving? Are we going to have a mindset of, let's find a different alternative or solution? Let's pivot to this solution if we have a challenge in our business or in our life. Can we make a different set of tasks today that we did yesterday that will give a different result? Can we have a different planning that will get us to a different location in our business, a different location in our life? Can we communicate with somebody new, different, in a completely different realm that is going to take us to a different thought, and therefore make a different decision? So I think that I'm trying to make it a little bit creative, but at the same, a little flexible. I want to be flexible and open, but also a little bit structured. So it's really about the mindset. So you have to have an open mindset that things are not going to stay in that same way, and things are going, that there are things out there for you with solutions, that even though you see three choices in a problem for your business or your life, there may be a fourth choice that you don't know. So if you have a mindset of being open, that, oh, maybe there's something that I don't know that is going to come from me, maybe something that you never imagined that could be available for you. So it's about the hope and the dream. I mean, no, it sounds a little bit creative, a little bit like the manifesting thing, but it's almost like believing that there is something out there that you can't even imagine, or that you can't even believe right now that is possible or available for you or your business. And I think that's what you need to change your mindset when there's an uncertainty or a challenge in your life. Well, not change if you don't have that openness, if you don't have that abundance receiving mindset. So you have to really make sure that you evaluate your mindset when you go into a challenge. That's the first thing. Like, so how do you address that challenge? First is the mindset. That where are you? Because the mindset is going to allow you to see the possibilities. Because without a mindset of there is a choice that is different than what I'm seeing, you won't go out there talking to someone, researching something different, and allowing another solution. And sometimes it's even stillness. It's even about just staying still and listening to your thought, and maybe an idea comes up. So it's really believing that there is a possibility and that there's something out there that for the challenge or uncertainty that can happen to you. I mean, during the pandemic, I never thought I had a huge problem to solve in Massachusetts, and all of a sudden the possibility stood up there for me, and I took the chance, and you've seen the videos, and I moved to California in the middle of the pandemic, and I changed my life completely. So that I was open to knowing that something crazy could happen, and my family couldn't even believe it. So now it's the same thing. I just moved to Santa Monica. It's the same thing. You don't know, when you accept that something else beyond what you can see and what you have in front of you of your problem, that's when the possibilities, when you have to be open, that's when the possibilities will arrive. That's the first thing.
I'm going to press on whatever you said, because it's true. So one of the things that I find, that I talk to people and I'm saying that I give, have you thought about this? Oh no, that's not going to work. And I'm like, right away, I see that they are really closed up and they are not going to listen anything that I'm going to say. So I let them go. I'm not talking about their problems. They have to figure it out. I bring it up, I'm letting them know. The other thing, you have to be very organized. And I think and you know how to plan. Because if you're going to just sit around, like I know if I don't plan in my agenda, I'm not going to do it. But when it's there, I'm looking what I have to do in the morning for the day, and I'm saying, okay, how can I use my time the best to be able to achieve what I want to achieve that day, and to do all the things that I wrote down, all the tasks that I wrote down in my agenda. If I'm not doing that, I'm lost. When I have everything written down, I'm just talking from my point of view, then I start looking at what else is needed. It's like having a title and you need a subtitle. And sometimes something just pops in, or you read something, you look at something, you do some research, and you find your answer. But listen to your intuition and be open. If you are closed down, I find that there are people who are very closed down. There are people who are taking too many risks without thinking about the consequences. And there are the people who kind of, they're going to wait the possibilities, what can happen if or not. And in these times when really we were closed down for, now it's 2.5 years, okay, it opened up, we can do certain things. Still, I'm in Canada, I cannot travel, not inside Canada, unless I'm vaccinated, but I cannot take it because some health reasons. So it's like I'm thinking, how can I conquer that part and still make it work for me? So there is always a request. And the most important thing, you have to be very curious. Lots of questions. If you have something that you're working on it, ask people, but people who you trust, people who you know that they're going to support you and give you the right answer. Always questions, and you're going to have your answers. That's my take on everything, just in nutshell what we were talking about. Nanny?
Yeah, absolutely. Being curious, being open. And you mentioned something when you were talking. You said you were reading some things, maybe you're reading a book, maybe you're listening to something. Sometimes even listening to a song gives you some idea, right? So, but that implies, like you said, in the planning, which is so, so, so important, right? That implies that you're actually taking time to do something outside your issue, outside the uncertainty problem, outside the challenge, and outside your life
And I saw the
challenge.
comfort zone, most importantly.
Right, right. So you are taking the time to maybe read, like I said, the stillness. Maybe you listen to a song. Maybe you read a book that has nothing to do. You just relax and you think. You have the time to step away from that circumstance. You have to step away. And when you step away from that challenge, then that uncertainty, you can connect the other things that you read. Maybe you're reading a biography, maybe you're reading a how-to book, but you have to set the time and the planning to those activities. Maybe you go for a walk, a meditative walk. Maybe you do some exercise, and during the exercise, or maybe you take in a shower and meditate. So those are important things to know, that she's talking about planning, is talking about a task that you're doing that is different than separate from the challenge. Of course, we have our life. We wake up, we have breakfast, and we have things. We do things that are outside our work and our life challenge. But still, planning something specifically, like you said, like for her to read a book, she needs to schedule time to, okay, this is a time off, like I'm just going to take a break and relax 30 minutes, I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to listen to this podcast, or I'm going to view this the relationship video, right? You can set a time for doing that, for listening to us, and that may connect something and say, you know what, that's true. Oh, you know what, that butterfly that Nenny has hanging in her hair.
I love it. I'm focused on that.
Maybe the butterfly, you know, that she's standing out with the butterfly. Like this, actually, my co-worker in the little tea room that I am working at, she made it for me for my birthday, so I decided I would put it on. Yeah. She actually built it for me. She's really creative. So, but when you do a creative thing, for example, you know, just to stand out, maybe you stand out by seeing something in this video. Maybe you see the picture, you say, you know what, she has a picture, it makes me stay and listen to it.
And it's
So
lovely written there. I can see it.
yeah, it's a light actually that I got in Paris that it lights up and says love. So so maybe that gives you an idea for something. Maybe you're putting up a store and you're having a decoration and gives you an idea. So all these things that may not be related specifically to the challenge that you're doing may give you a creative solution, or something to do that is different, that will change your your options. It will change your future. It could change maybe a connection. It could change something in your business and in your life. So that's very important what you said. Now I wanted to talk. So that's very, very good. You know, the planning is absolutely needed. You need to have, especially if you're right brain, you need to actually have a plan of every hour that you're doing, so that you have some structure and focus. Because right brainers like Eva and I, we tend to go one topic and the other and do some things. And if we don't have a schedule, it's easy for us to go to anywhere, to whatever shiny penny syndrome happens, right? So we go to somewhere and then we start writing, we start doing this and doing that, and we have to have a focus. So left brainers are a little more focused and structured, so they do that naturally. They need more the outlet to be creative and allow time for being creative and creating ideas. We as right brainers are more idea creation people, so we need to focus so that get the structured things done. So if you actually do the planning and you know yourself, we talked about this in another episode about knowing yourself, your challenges and your skills and your strengths and your weaknesses to fix them. So if you have all that knowledge, you put it together in a planning, you can address better the challenges, what to do, what not to do. This is what this episode is about, what do's and don'ts, right? And getting back to that, actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about, like, what can you do when you face rejection, and a challenge where you face rejection, you face sales rejection, or you face a rejection in the choice that you say, okay, I'm going to do this plan, but in that plan something gets blocked, you're rejected, you've been rejected because the solution is not well done, or maybe in your own personal life there's a rejection. How do you handle that? I'm going to let Eva start that conversation, so I know she's the expert on the relationship and communication. So Eva.
Rejection. First of all, you were talking about everything that is important, but in order to realize certain things and to catch that answer, you have to be present. Most of us, we live in the past and we live in the future. So we have regrets for the past, and I think regret and fear, it's such a wasted emotion. So when your promo did not work, if you promote your business and it did not work, which way you go? Let's say you have money, then you can hire someone to help you and make it really professional. But if you are one business and that person does not understand you, it means that it's how to say, it's almost like if they branding you, but the branding doesn't fit you. Being a large person trying on a small jacket. So it's not going to work, right? So you have to know, and this is very important, have to know what is your message, what kind of values you have and you're going to give to your clients, what kind of messages you're going to give your clients. So everything has to be congruent with whatever is going on, and the promotion is no different. The promotion has to be short, because people have very short fuse basically to listen to everything, and if has to be short but to the point, to understand. Sometimes I'm watching an advertisement and it's like boring, and at the end I have no idea what they were talking about. After they coming back again and they saying that this is the advertisement, I'm watching the 10th time and I still not get it. So it means they did not do a very good job in advertisement and promoting the business or promoting whatever they are selling, because it's not going to work. And I lost the train of thought and I'm just trying to figure out. But
that's a right brainer for you. It's normal, like, yeah, but it's
the
really
promo, it's important, and it's important to be congruent with everything you're doing, so people understand, they get it right away. Yes.
Yeah,
Next.
that's why the promotion is the marketing. Like, how do you promote and market your product, your service, your life? Even if it's in a relationship, you're still promoting yourself, right? So that promotion needs to be, I think we've talked about it before in another episode. We said has to be simple, has to be clear, has to be short, and has to be relevant to the times that we're living. And if you have those 4 things for you, then the promotion will be effective. And that's the secret of a good promotion. So if you do those 4, then you will have a little bit more success in the effectiveness of your promotion. But that's very important. So when you get back to the way you get back to it, when your promotion doesn't work, just go back and see, well, is it simple enough? Is it simple to understand? Is it short? Is it relevant? Is it catchy? Is it really clear? And is the call to action after the promotion very clear and direct and simple, short, something very non-complex to do? Then you have a successful promotion, and you can get back into the horse. Because the promotion didn't work, you don't have to feel rejected. You don't have to connect your ego with it, right? That's another thing. I was looking at some social media posts the other day, last night actually, and I was making a comment, you do have to let go of your ego when it comes to business, because if you really attach your ego to it, to anything that happens, and attach your ego to things that are happening, you will get you will feel rejected, and that rejection a rejection feeling is a negative emotion. regardless. So if you let your ego get affected, then you're not thinking straight, you're not thinking objectively for the next choice and the next strategy to put in place. So that is why you need to let go of that. Of course, it worked for Donald Trump. The ego made the ego made him go to be the president, right? He wanted to have that, so he got it. So that it doesn't mean that the ego is not good. It just means that when in terms of the rejection, when you have a challenge in your business, you don't have you have to be very centered to be able to not let your ego get affected when you're rejected, when you have a challenge, because then it will block your ability to make a new choice, ability to see the opportunities, ability to see the different strategies that you have ahead. And just be detached from it. You just detach, no ego. That's okay. It's just one choice. A friend we're talking to someone yesterday, and I was saying, there's really not good and bad. It's just a different choice. There's really not a bad thing or a negative thing. There's just you made a choice of experiencing life in a X, Y, and Z way, and so the non-judgment is the same as the non-ego part, right? So don't judge yourself for making a bad choice. Just analyze it objectively and say, okay, I made X, Y, and Z decisions that led me to X, Y, and Z experience or choices that were created a challenge in my business, created a challenge in my life. Well, now I can create a different choice. What kind of choices can I change? Can I change the choice number 1 or number 2? Or maybe when we're talking in the subject of this episode, like, what would you do if you go back and think when you were started? Would you have done things differently? It's just a matter of choice. And it's a matter of experience. You're living a particular experience that's leading you to an uncertainty and a challenge in your life or your business. So how can you change the choices and the strategies that you had before? Not all of them together, but just one change that may lead to a different outcome. So that is very important, to just analyze and be detached from it. No ego, no judgment, just see it as a life experience.
I'm going to bring up the ego. Ego is a good thing if you use it in a positive and the proper way, because we all have little egos. Some people have bigger and smaller, but you need that to be able to function and to go ahead, because that pushes you, because you want to be the best and whatever. So ego is not always so bad. The other thing you were saying about if you have a problem and how to change it, and what you do. And we had the last week the podcast about every problem and everything is a lesson. Every mistake, it's not a mistake, but it's a lesson. So basically, if you take it like that, you don't going to beat yourself up that, oh my God, I made an error. So what? Many people do it. You get up, you shake yourself up, and you go on. The other thing we were talking about, I wanted to bring in, I just have to write it down, about you were talking about client, who is your client, and that is the most important thing to know, because if you are not catering to their needs, you are not going to have a business. And sometimes, as we were talking about pivoting and changing things, like I had previously I had a different name for my business, and I had the coach, I had JT Fox, and he says, okay, this is why it's not working, your business. You don't get the clients. I got lots of attention, but not the right clients. So I changed the branding. But with that, I lost, like for the podcast, I lost lots of listeners. So I had to start from the beginning. I could have just said, you know what? Okay, I'm starting new and I'm going to struggle again. And I had around 300 people, 300 episodes. And I was like, you know what, whatever, let's start anew. Let's see what happens. And if it doesn't work, I can still pivot a little bit back to see, but I still use the same ideas from the business, only the name changed. So you have to be open and And here where you started about ego, that in that case, it's not good. If I say, oh, what do you know about my business? I am right. I know my business. I'm going to do it the way I want it. And you don't know what I'm talking about. You know what? If you are like that, don't even try to get a coach. You have to be very open and you're very, confident in yourself to take a criticism or take an advice. Not criticism, it's mostly advice. And when people give you advice, I find that in the beginning, it's like, oh my God, I didn't do something good. No, it gives you an advice and you take out whatever is relevant to you and whenever you feel comfortable, because each person is different and you have to keep your persona. You don't want to be anybody else but you, because that's how you attract people to you. Nani.
Yeah, and that's a very good way to wrap up this episode as we finish with our time here with you. And it's a very important thing. Just hang in there, open up to the choices, open up your mindset, do a right planning, let go of the ego so that you can see other opportunities and be fresh and new, and start again with all. It doesn't matter what happens in your life and your business. So this is great to have you here. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, for sharing, for commenting below, and also get in touch with us in our social media. I'm Neni Carolina Chacin. You can find me on all the social media. Same thing with Eva Hompoth. You can find her on all the social media. Just get a free consultation with us, and I hope you are here with us soon again to the next episode coming up. And this is Neni, and I'm out. Eva?
Goodbye.
For star.